RJTI charts versus our S&P 500 and markets in general outlook, our successes. Many offer market ideas, and yet we think it's important for one to show truth when it comes to the markets. What we're going to do is explain why we think the markets are on the verge of continuing decline, and if our history serves us right, then the outcome is predetermined and time will just take care of our ideas. Here's our sell signals. A 4-hour time frame, February the 20th, 2025. We got a sell signal at 61.34, as you can see on the chart. And this sell signal was 13.43 points off of our current all-time high. And then our daily time frame signal, which was on February the 23rd, 2025 at 61.14. This was 2 days after the contract high of 61.47.43. Then on our weekly time frame, December the 20th, 2024, we got a sell signal at 63.74. And although the weekly took some hits at some times, currently it still shows the bearishness that's at hand right now. How do we read the tomorrow from some of the most powerful algorithms in our hands? First of all, we remove all fundamentalist analysis from our equation. We don't care what Jim Cramer or BlackRock or Goldman Sachs or Earnings Reports or Zach has to offer. Simply put, it has never been fundamental variables factored into our model, and as you can see from the sell signals which guided our actions, we just didn't need to hear fundamental chatter, yet the sell signals were timely, were they not? Here's our angle. We simply rely on the laws of physics and the laws of mathematics. So let's talk about what we read for the tomorrow. But first, if I may, let's just step back to a time period that we saw coming before 98% of the world who didn't know what lied ahead. It is important for us to do this so that you can grasp our forward-looking idea for the markets in general. What you're looking at is a 2020 chart, year 2020 chart. On January the 24th, year 2020, we got a sell signal. And as you can see at the lower part of the chart, when blue crosses below our red, that's sell, and when yellow crosses up above our red, that's sell too. This was a great sell signal in year 2020, and we saw it coming based from our algorithms. Not necessarily that it would be named COVID-19, but from our expectations that a black swan was to unfold. And unlike others who promote that they had sell signals, blah, 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 called the 2020 decline in their promotional material, we've yet to see any one of those show with specificity where they either put out a sell signal or a sell price. Anyone can talk about a market is going to do this or that, but specificity of such action should be availed for review too. Yes, we talked about what was to be in 2020, but here's our evidence of what we believe that 98% of the world probably did not see coming. We commenced this projection starting in March of 2019, yet we will spare you all of the details, but we have the receipts. August the 5th, 2019, at 7:09 p.m., we sent out RJTI charts versus we told you so that black swans were embedded in the market. And our last message before year 2020 unfolded, we sent out on December the 27th, 2019. And if you notice, we sent it out to Fast Money at CNBC, Squawk Box Europe at CNBC, and Power Lunch CNBC.com too. We sent out RJTI charts versus 2020 is going to be interesting, laced with black swans that may unfold. Gold, silver, treasuries to the rescue. And as you can see from the latter, our sell signal displayed on January the 5th, 2020 was not a mistake, but a prophecy that came true. RJTICharts.com also pegged the year 2022 to sell in January of that year from our 2021 warnings, but we will spare you such details. Yet we have the receipts. Now, the reason we showed you all this is to say that, hey, listen, we understand our algorithms, and the 2 times that we described to you was sell signals that came from our algorithms. Okay, let's move forward. Here's a little sidebar. Our algorithms examination of years before showed that since year 1905, over 120 years ago, not one time did our algorithm fail to cross our red line either for a sell or a buy signal. Let us reiterate that the laws of physics and the laws of mathematics is what we rely on. Let's take a look at this chart here. Starting from the left, when the blue line got to a certain peak, it registered overbought to us. Our expectations to sell. We're going to get sell signal. When our algorithms dive deep, we get into oversold conditions. Expectations is we're going to get a buy signal. And as you can see, the next 2 signals, the red, when blue cross below it, we got a sell signal. When green cross above it, we got a buy signal. Now, take a look at the rectangle. That blue in the box was overbought conditions, and this was the year that 2019 position was in. We was in extreme overbought conditions. So our expectations, expect a sell signal. Now, let's take a look at year 2025. Our 4-hour time frame, S&P 500, sell at 61.34, evolved. Our daily time frame, S&P 500, sell at 61.14, evolved. Our weekly time frame, S&P 500, sell at 63.79, evolved. What does all this mean? We're bearish. And to avoid that bearishness, the S&P 500 needs a ferocious rally to sway our algorithms away from producing a sell signal on the monthly chart. Trade closes above 61.07 would help for the S&P 500. Yet, we think, as we've seen time after time, that the laws of physics and the laws of mathematics are superior against fundamentals, for they are the core of every moving thing on earth. And this trajectory spells that absent of a Fed rate cut or some type of hocus pocus story built to save the markets from a decline, how could we not accept the history of what our algorithms are offering for potential continuous market direction, which is lower? And might we add that actions from the White House is providing the reasoning to support what the laws of physics and mathematics have deemed as potential outcome. Marketeers always provide reasons why this or that happened. We go to Bloomberg, we go to CNBC to understand why something happened or what's being reported, what happened. And this is what caused the market to do this or that. So what we do at RJTI Charts is to see the physics and mathematics position based from our algorithms to know that a buy or sell signal is at hand or continuing, and with expectations that the reasoning why will be injected as to why such happened. The market moved up because of this or that, or down because of etc. This is the trajectory that is building on our monthly time frame chart. And if such does occur, as expected, a crossing of the red line by the blue line to the downside opens the door for the S&P 500 and other markets to move toward a range 5,100 to 5,775 for starters. Our previous signals on the 21st, illustrated on the ladder charts, was a projection to move toward the 57.75 to 58.25 range, and the S&P 500 hit a low as of 228.25, a trade low of 58.37.66. But we've been offering our warnings for over 8 months, and as of now, our system has sold 13.42 points off of the all-time contract high. But as it stands right now, a crossing of our monthly algorithms equals a range of 5,100 to 58.25. Take a look at this chart here. We got glimpse that the S&P 500 was overbought way back in somewhere around April, May of 2024. And the progression, although the market moved counter trend, is that we constantly saw that the day was coming where the trend would be reversing. And as you can see, the blue line has constantly been declining, and we're almost ready to cross. And if we do cross, expect lower S&P 500 index. By the way, what did we see for PLTR and NVDA? They weren't a downturn surprise. It's easy to see the trees that make up the forest, and it's even easier to see the forest that's made up of trees. But it's not so easy to see behind the forest. Get your Rambo today. RJTICharts.com, driven by infinite wisdom and its proprietary trading systems.